Ohio State versus Rutgers. It's going to be at home, the final game before the game next week, November 29th in Ann Arbor, but we don't want to be looking forward to that yet. We still got to play Rutgers. We're going to talk about Ohio State versus Rutgers here in a second. AJ Let's Talk Sports, subscribe for all my latest content. And just want to look at this here. We're going to do something different to start off the show. Now, as for the college football playoffs, the picture looking here, we got some of the... wanted to take a look at this real quick. I got the graphic up here. And just taking a look at the college football playoff picture as of today. I know it's says November 18th, but I just got it off there today. Look at number 12. Tulane could sneak in there, which is pretty cool. It's nice to see some other outside of the Power 5, outside of the big schools, could possibly make the college football playoff, which is pretty neat. And they would play Texas Tech, the Red Raiders, in the first round if it started today. So who knows what's going to happen? Does Tulane win out in their conference and get that 12 seed, maybe 11 seed? We'll find out here soon enough with only a couple games left to go. Ohio State playing Rutgers tomorrow at noon, by the way. Now, look at number 11, Miami. I want to go ahead and take a look at this here. I'm doing multiple things as of right now. But Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, and Alabama look like they're going to be first-round buys. Did Alabama actually stay at 4? No, Georgia's out of there. So you got Georgia in there because Alabama lost, and Alabama actually dropped to 10. But according to this college football playoff bracket on ESPN, it doesn't have it updated. Okay, so that is a late update. So I don't even know why I'm even looking at this, because it's going to be way off. And they need to update this. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the teams that are in as of right now. Now, Indiana is at number 2. And they're going to be on the opposite side of the bracket of Ohio State as of right now if this happens. So if Ohio State wins out, which I think they will, it would be pretty cool if they have a Big Ten championship matchup. Not only do they do a Big Ten championship game, but it's going to be a college football playoff championship game for the Big Ten. That's going to be freaking sweet. And Texas A&M, people have been asking me, who are you scared of going into college football playoffs? I'm really not scared of anybody. Georgia possibly. And we can get them in the semifinals. I'm not scared of any of them. Notre Dame, Oklahoma, no. Miami, no. Ole Miss, no. I'm not scared of Oregon. Our wide receivers need to stay healthy. We'll get to that in a second. Alabama, no. We'll beat Alabama. Indiana, Texas A&M. That's going to be hard. Aggies or Hoosiers. Those two teams, I really think that would cause us problems, especially in the run game, because I think Texas A&M, they can run pretty well. Now, let's go ahead and get into. I know a special segment. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Comment if you did. Sorry about. I apologize for the The ESPN did not update the college football playoff bracket. By the way, that was from like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. All right, not up to date, ESPN. It's your fault. So, Ohio State taking on Rutgers. We are going to be talking about this and why. Okay. The number 1 team in the land, 10-0 and undefeated in the Big Ten. Rutgers is actually 2-5 in the Big Ten, better than Penn State. I tell you. Did you hear about Rich Franklin getting the Virginia Tech job? Do you guys like that? I don't know. Scarlet Knights are 5-5. Fun fact, Rutgers is the first college football team ever started there in Rutgers. All right, so it's going to be broadcasted on Fox. Ohio State enters unbeaten for the first time since 2019, riding a 14-game winning streak, securing their 32nd season with 10-plus wins. That is tied for third most all time. Their most recent win, 48-10, beat UCLA just last Saturday. Had a balanced attack despite some injuries. The wide receivers didn't even play. Cornell Tate and Jeremiah Smith were out. So I don't have an update for you as of yet if they will be starting. Hopefully they will be. Rutgers snapped a 4-game losing skid, beating Maryland 35-20. That's pretty good. And the Scarlet Knights have been competitive in the Big Ten, but they have been struggling at top-tier opponents. And they're 2-5 in conference. We just talked about that. Now, both teams rank among the Big Ten's top passing offenses. Ohio State's elite defense and Rutgers' porous run game create a clear talent disparity there. Now, let's take a look at Ohio State versus Rutgers here. 35 points a game for Ohio State, 24 for Rutgers. Allowed, only 12.4 points allowed for the Buckeyes, 28 for Rutgers. Total yards per game, 441 yards and 279 yards, 161 yards rushing. Sorry about that. It's 441 total, 279.5 for passing, and 161.8 for rushing. So Rutgers is actually really pass heavy. So the corners and safeties are going to really struggle, hopefully, on the outside, and we're going to have to stop them. Caleb Downs going to be working inside and outside, working all over the place in the secondary. He's going to be wreaking havoc. Look for him to get an INT. That's my fact of the day. Total yards allowed per game, 280 to 410. Rutgers allows 410 yards a game. So look for Ohio State just to go crazy. And another key stat here for Bo Jackson to get him, probably he's going to get over 150 yards rushing. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because Rutgers' rush defense is the worst in the Big Ten, allowing 198.5 yards a game. Now, 15 sacks so far. That's second in the Big Ten. And Rutgers has 31, second most in the Big Ten, which is crazy. Sacks allowed. Turnover margin is plus 12, and then Rutgers is a plus 2. So against the spread, 8-2 for the Buckeyes and 5-5 for the Rutgers. Now, taking a look at Ohio State, the Buckeyes average 441.3 yards per game, but they face an uncertainty with the wideouts with Smith and Tate with nagging injuries. They were out. Cornell Tate was out against Purdue and UCLA. Now, Julian's saying he's 62%, low turnovers, but run game stole the show against UCLA, 222 yards and 7 yards per carry. Freshman Bo Jackson exploded for over 100 yards. He goes back-to-back with that, while James Peebles and Isaiah West provide depth. Expect a heavy rushing game. Like I said, Rutgers allows 198.5 rushing yards a game. So Bo Jackson's going to feast all day against Rutgers defense. Now, correct me if I'm botching this guy's name up. Ethan Kaliakmanis, transfer from Minnesota. Kaliakmanis has improved dramatically. He boosted his completion percentage to 62.3% so far this season, throwing for 4 touchdowns against Maryland. Antoine Raymond, he has 200 carries with 1,000 yards so far this year, including a 240-yard, 41-carry last week. Now, Rutgers offense sucks. They're averaging only just 120 rushing yards and losses, and Kaliakmanis to air it out 35-plus attempts against the Ohio State secondary, but it's going to get intercepted like it did last week with the Buckeye defense. Now, Matt Patricia has it juggernaut and their defense. They're number 1 nationally with a plus 12 turnover margin. Caleb Downs with a team high in interceptions and a pass rush that notched 25 sacks so far. They went sackless in back-to-back games recently, but faced a vulnerable QB. He's got pressured on 112 dropbacks, which is 4th in the most Big Ten. Now, Ohio State's secondary rebounds with a pick 6. That's what I try to say. And it's going to be Caleb Downs. Let's see. Betting odds. Let's take a look at it. The spread is 31.5. We're getting used to this 31.5 spread. And then actually with UCLA, it went to 34.5 because their quarterback, Nico, couldn't play. Now, they have covered in 8 of the 10 games. So do you think that Ohio State will cover? I am not sure with 31.5. It depends on if the wide receivers play. The money line's at a minus 9,091. Rutgers at a plus 2433. And Rutgers has won 1 of 6 as underdogs. they will not be doing anything such on the big name kickoff in Columbus at the Shoe. Total 55.5. Lean towards the under, just in case if the wide receivers don't play. You gotta don't make your bets until you 100% know. But who knows? It's probably a game time decision. 98% win probability for the Buckeyes. Now the Columbus Dispatch have it 38-14. That's if the wide receivers don't play, but 42-17 if they're healthy. And then I'm probably going to do 42-13, even if the wide receivers don't play, because they'll just run that football down Rutgers' throat all day long. And look for Bo Jackson to have over 150 rushing yards and probably multiple touchdowns, by the way, and a pick six for Caleb Downs. And those are my predictions for the prop bets. And I do this for the UFC show, and I want to do it for this show. I'm going to do a trivia question. I already have it picked out. I'm going to drop it right now. So if you guys want to go on the post, I'm going to post it on there. And it's going to be a trivia question. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you what the question is. And that way you can go on the post and make sure you make your predictions or picks for this trivia question. Which year did Ohio State win their national championship for first? Which year did Ohio State win their first national championship? I used to have the replica banner back in the day, back when I was married and had a house and all that shit. She divorced me. And actually, I divorced her because she cheated on me. But anyways, too much information. But I had the banner. It was pretty sick. I had my own sports room and everything, Ohio State stuff and everything. And I had the banner up and everything like that. She sold everything. But anyway, I'm going to have multiple choice questions for you. So hope you guys enjoy the show. Love you guys. God bless. Tip the waitress.